Now we're going to talk about thoughts and experiences you may have during meditation. There are four types of experiences that you can have. The first one is repeating the mantra. You've been taught that to meditate, you should repeat your mantra. You should start your meditation without any expectations, that you should repeat the mantra easily and effortlessly, and that if it changes, picks up speed, changes pitch, your pronunciation's a little bit different, just let it go. Just keep going with it. If a thought pops into your mind while you're meditating, gently return to the mantra. That's basics of meditation, primordial sign meditation. Now, the second experience you may have that could interfere with that repeating the mantra are thoughts. We have 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. That's a bunch of thoughts. And just because we're meditating, our thoughts, our brain does not stop thinking. It's impossible. We'd be dead if we quit thinking. So what do? Thoughts really are a signal that we're releasing stress from our body or from our mind. When we're releasing stress, when we're meditating or releasing stress, it's probably what we need to do most at that point in time. But we still try to get back to the mantra as often as we can. We just shift back and forth. Now, there are a number of types of thoughts. You could have ideas, images, pictures, memories. It's something I have quite often. Just be thinking about what you need to do. I've got to pick up some milk on the way home from work. Some people experience colors or light, which I think would be pretty cool. It's never happened to me, though. Another type of thought is physical sensations. I have aches in my left knee in particular from an old injury. Quite often when I'm meditating, I'll feel a little twinge or something in that. It just means stress within my body is releasing itself. Now, also, emotional shifts. One time I had a meditation where all of a sudden I just felt a deep sense of sorrow and sadness. I had no idea what caused it. And after I became aware of it, I shifted my attention back to the mantra, but it was kind of weird. And another time, exactly the opposite. I had a sense of joy and happiness, no idea where it came from. But all of these things are releases of stress within the body. If it happens, you just recognize what happened, and then you return to the mantra. If it's an intense feeling, it's okay to spend a little bit of time awareness-wise with the sensation in your body or with the emotion. But as soon as you find yourself drifting off into other thoughts, that's a signal it's time for you to return to the mantra. Now, don't try to prevent thoughts. Can't be done. To prevent a thought takes thinking, and then thinking leads to more activity and more thoughts and more thoughts. Impossible. Another type of thought might be noises, external to you. It's not in your body or your mind, it's noises outside. You're not ever going to get away from them. So the key is just know that you can meditate even if there are noises around you. Some people meditate in the airport or on an airplane. It can be done. So noise is not an excuse to not meditate. Now, there are two aspects to thoughts. There is the sound or vibration of the thought, and there's the meaning of the thought. The meaning is what holds our attention, and it's what spurs additional activity, mental activity. It spurs more thoughts, and then another thought, and then another thought, all related to the original meaning of the first thought. So what can we do about holding our attention or letting go of these things holding our attention? Well, know that mantras, that's exactly what they're intended to do. They're intended to interrupt the flow of the thinking mind, to allow our awareness to settle down. Now, how does that work? Well, the mantra is a thought. It is a thought, but it's without meaning. It has the sound vibration, doesn't have the meaning. And since it doesn't have a meaning, there's nothing for our minds to grab onto that would spur another thought. This helps us to go beyond our thinking mind and to get into a place of silence and restfulness, and hopefully eventually get to what we call the gap. Now, you may occasionally still have abstract thoughts when you get to this point. Just return to the mantra when you become aware of them. Now, a third experience is falling asleep, my favorite. I've fallen asleep during meditation on more than one occasion. It just happens. And if it hasn't happened to you yet, it probably will. Now, sleep is restful dullness, right? It's not the same thing as meditation. Meditation is restful awareness. We're meditating here. We're not trying to go to sleep. So that's the goal, restful alertness or awareness. Now, if you fall asleep occasionally during a meditation, it just means you're tired. That's all. That's all it is. You haven't failed. You're not screwing up your meditation. When you wake up, if there's time left of meditation, finish it. Or if there isn't any time left of meditation, try to squeeze in 5 minutes of meditations so that you finish with alertness instead of dullness. Now, if you fall asleep a lot during your meditations, it means you're fatigued. You're really tired. Maybe you're stressed out, you're working too much, you're not getting enough sleep. And if that's the case, you may have to look at making some lifestyle changes. Something I can help you with, but that's not today's topic. Okay. Now, if you're sick or a woman is pregnant, of course, your body requires more rest. So you might fall asleep more often during meditation, but that's okay. That's to be expected. Now, try to sleep during normal sleep patterns so that when you do your meditations, you can maintain an alertness, which is the best way to get the most out of meditation. A fourth experience, slipping into the gap. What's the gap? It's the space between thoughts. You may not realize it, but every thought is concrete, discrete, and in between there's a tiny little space, and then there's the next thought, and then another tiny little space, the next thought. Those tiny spaces are known as the gap. It's pure awareness. There is no mental activity occurring when you go into the gap, and you do go into the gap every time between your thoughts. You just don't realize it. Now, meditation is designed to slow down your mental activity. And by doing so and focusing your activity on the mantra itself, you expand that space. You expand the gap through meditation, and it allows you to spend more time there. And spending more time is a good idea. Why? Because it allows you access to higher states of consciousness, unlimited creativity, infinite possibilities. It allows you access to your soul, your individual expression of spirit. Why would you not want to go there, right? Now, everyone slips into the gap. You don't realize it, but because it's subtle and it's very brief. However, if during meditation, you've settled yourself down and really got your mental activity to slow down, you may, in the middle of a meditation, all of a sudden realize that you just had some passage of time, some period of time where you don't remember reciting the mantra or thinking anything. It just feels like time has just moved on. You might have been in the gap, or you might just all of a sudden have a sense of peace and joy. That's maybe another signal that maybe you entered the gap. You'll never know for certain if or when you're in the gap, because if you're thinking about being in the gap or you're in the gap, you're not in the gap, you're thinking. So don't look to try to get into the gap, because all you're doing is thinking and creating mental activity that will prevent you from ever having the opportunity to experience the gap. All meditation is good. There's no such thing as a bad meditation. And whatever you get during your meditation, whatever happens, even if it's a lot of thoughts and experiences, it's what you needed most at that time. So don't fret if you have a lot of thoughts or experiences. It's just part of the process. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. I'm here to support you. Namaste.